and thank you for tuning in for my review of Pride of Baghdad. This is another Vertigo book. It was one written by Brian K. Vaughan, and this is a recommended for mature readers. And I will explain why a little bit down the way. But yes, all of the Vertigo line books, as I've noticed, are all for mature readers. I had a lot of high expectations for this book, just because when it said the award-winning writer Brian K. Vaughan, and I had kind of saw all the praise that was on the back of this. I'm going to give you the synopsis real quick, and this is not a word for word, but in the spring of 2003, a pride of lions escaped from the Baghdad Zoo during an American bombing raid. Lost and confused, hungry, but finally free, the four lions roam the decimated streets of Baghdad in a desperate struggle for their lives. In documenting the plight of the lions, Pride of Baghdad raises vital questions about the true meaning of freedom, inspired by a true story. I know that this was a book that either people loved it or they hated it, and I kind of have to say, I rated this 3 stars on Goodreads just because I was so, half-half about it. I was so 50-50 about it. A lot of people gave it really good praise because of the artwork. Yes, the cover is amazing. It is beautiful. Sometimes so is the artwork inside. But one of the main criticisms I have about when it comes to the artwork, and I have to agree with another reviewer said the same thing, that sometimes I got lost and confused as to who the characters were just based on the artwork. Like, one of the characters is blinded in an eye, and you couldn't really tell during fight scenes which one of those was that character. And for that reason, that's why I kind of was thinking it wasn't that great. Now, getting back to the mature content, there's a flashback rape sequence, which another reason why I give it 3 stars. I'm like, wasn't necessary to be in the story. I don't know why the author compelled to write that part and put it in there. And also there were sexual scenes involving a couple of the lions, which another thing I really didn't think was necessary for the story. Like somebody else had said in a review, they really thought that it was kind of crappy and wasn't necessary, vital to the story. So, along those lines, I'm not really a big fan of talking animals. So I know that that's not why I rated this so low. It's not why I didn't love it. But it's just, there were a couple of different things. I don't want to give any spoilers. I was really disappointed by the ending. You have to read it for yourself to see how it turns out in the end. But I get what the writer was trying to say about how, they were finally free, that they'd been blasted out accidentally of the zoo, and they had this newfound freedom, and I got that they really didn't know how to be real lions in the wild because they weren't used to being free, and that they were, fed on a daily basis by humans and stuff like that. I kind of got that. I mean, I really thought that was cool, showing them roaming the streets of a decimated city. And I guess that the author had gotten some background info on this, because there were witnesses, I guess, who wrote blog posts about seeing the lions in the city. So some of it is based on some fact, although how much fact I don't know really. I'm assuming it's a very loose, facts. But yeah, the story was kind of really weak. I mean, I thought it was just kind of, trying to glamorize certain things to make it good for a comic book. The fight sequences with other animals. Someone else in another review had said that there were some discrepancies with the animals in the zoo. Like, for instance, they wouldn't have antelopes across from the lions, and birds would not just be able to fly out because their wings would be clipped. I totally agree with them on that, and I think that's why I did not think this was a great book. It's an okay book. Would I recommend, saying that it's a must read? No, it's not a must read. I think that it was written at a time of extreme patriotism, and now that that time is kind of past, it's kind of awkward, not really. I think it was kind of riding on the coattails of patriotism, and maybe that's why people were thinking so highly of this book. But in the end, all I would say, it was just an average read. It was okay. There were some things to be highly critical of, and it has some beautiful artwork at times. But like other times, it was kind of confusing as to who the characters were. So that is my review of Pride of Baghdad. If you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out for yourself so you can see what it's like. I don't know what the listing price for this is. It was $12.99 US and $15.99 in Canada. I'm sure if you look on Amazon, you can find this much cheaper, like a used copy, or maybe Book Depository. So I don't know if you want to go and spend the money on it because it's really not that great. That's it, and thanks for watching. Until next time. Later, guys.